We're now going to look at the naming of covalent compounds and the writing of covalent formulas. To name or write covalent formulas, you need to be familiar with the list of covalent prefixes. You'll always be provided this list of covalent prefixes and the corresponding subscripts for any test or quiz on our test periodic table. Okay, I want to start off by kind of giving you an example of naming a covalent compound from a formula using the example chemical compound P2O5. The first thing you would do procedurally is to look up the prefixes that correspond to each subscript. Okay, the subscript of 2 on phosphorus corresponds to the prefix di, and that actually represents the count of phosphorus in this compound. The subscript 5 corresponds to the prefix penta, which actually represents the count of oxygen in the compound. To name the covalent formula, you're going to attach the first prefix di to the name of the first element, phosphorus, and then attach the second prefix penta to the name of the second element, oxygen. Now, to make it sound like a smoothly named covalent compound, we're going to give the formula name a suffix ending of "ide." That is a good indication of a binary compound. So once the compound is named, diphosphorus pentoxide. Notice that the A vowel sound at the end of penta was dropped just so it sounded a little bit more fluid. I won't worry so much about those nuances as long as you have the correct prefix and suffix ending. Okay, there are a few exceptions to using the prefixes. The one major exception is that if the first element in your chemical formula, like this chemical formula, CO, has a subscript of 1, which is understood here, we would not use a prefix on the name of the first element. The prefix mono is only used on the second element name. So, although technically the subscripts on carbon and oxygen are both 1, and the counts of carbon and oxygen are only 1, we would only use the name carbon of the first element and then attach mono to the name of oxygen and then attach the IDE suffix. Now we're going to look at writing covalent formulas from a name. Fortunately, this is a very, very easy thing to do. When you're given the name of a covalent formula, like this one, disulfur decafluoride, you're going to consult your prefix chart and determine what the corresponding subscript is for each element. The di on sulfur indicates that there's a count of 2 sulfurs in the compound. The deca on the fluorine indicates that there are 10 sulfurs. Okay, there's no ion crisscross in a covalent compound. There's no crisscrossing whatsoever because there are no ions. So when you write the formula for this compound, the prefix literally indicates the count of element that it is prefixing. So the ultimate formula that you would end up writing for disulfur decafluoride, you would write the element symbol first with its subscript, and then write the second element symbol with its subscript. So disulfur decafluoride would be S2F10, where the di indicates the subscript that goes on sulfur and the deca indicates the subscript that goes on fluorine. It's a very simple process, and you are not required to memorize any of the covalent prefixes. You simply will be able to reference them. Now, take a few minutes to try writing some and naming some covalent formulas.